health care bill over the objections of the Republican leadership of the House. A manhunt for the gunman who killed two people outside a Mormon church in Salt Lake City yesterday. It happened in the parking lot outside the building as a funeral was underway inside. California stands to lose $160 million in federal transportation funds for dragging its feet on revoking the commercial driver's licenses of thousands of immigrants who overstayed their visas. More details at srnnews.com.
As America's #1 motorcycle insurer, Progressive has your back.
Like if I need a replacement part?
Sure, we can help with that.
Nice. Hey, I just entered this online contest for coolest bike in the world. You think maybe you can vote for me?
Actually, we just do insurance, not popularity contests.
Yeah, I know. But what's your email? I'll just send you the link real quick. You can vote like 100 times a day. They'll never know.
To be clear, Progressive has your back for insurance only. So get a quote and see if you can save.
So what I'm hearing is there's a little bit of wiggle room.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates covered subject to policy terms, limits, and conditions.
What if 2026 could be the best year ever for your retirement? It can when you take control of your financial future with physical precious metals. Call Advantage Gold at 800-741-GOLD right now and get your free gold rollover kit valued at $49 just for calling. With a simple, tax and penalty-free rollover, you can add stability, security, and strength to your retirement. In times of uncertainty and market swings, gold has been a steady, tangible, proven store of value. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-741-GOLD.
The holiday season just got brighter at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. Wrap up the year with 0% for 36 months on all 2026 Chevrolet Trailblazer and Equinox models. Or slide into a new GMC, 1.9% for 36 months on a 26 Arcadia, plus up to $7,000 in rebates on a 26 GMC Sierra 1500 Elevation with Turbo Max with eligible trade-in. Big savings, big style.
Where he elevates that mid-range game.
Only at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Stop in today or visit online at hurlchev.com.
Convenience just got an upgrade. Farmers State Bank of Oakley is excited to announce the opening of our brand new ATM along Highway 40, right next to Sonic Drive-In. Whether you're grabbing a snack or on the go, you can quickly access your cash without the detour. It's banking made easy, right where you need it. Farmers State Bank of Oakley, member FDIC.
With NWKS Radio News, I'm Connor Schuh. Today, western Kansas is due for some inclement weather. Following 60-degree weather yesterday, there's a low-pressure storm cell moving in from the Pacific Southwest, moving northeast straight for Kansas. Heavy rainfall is set to come today in the morning and should eventually transition into snow as we get later into the day, coming in with a wave of cold air that's been moving south. The severity of the snow in the northwest Kansas area will be determined by how quickly the temperatures end up dropping today. And then tomorrow morning on Friday, the snow is supposed to pick up a little bit through the night into the morning, and temperatures will stay chilly before it warms up a little bit in the afternoon towards the mid to upper 30s. With the potential warmer weather, the snow should turn to rain if it warms up enough later on Friday. For these and other stories, go to nwksradio.net.
Our first storm system of the year will start off with some rain showers this morning and maybe a little snow mixed in. And then we'll have a second wave of snow showers tonight and tomorrow morning. This morning's rain showers will move off to the east by 1 or 2 p.m. with rain amounts of 1/4 to 3/4 inch south and east of a line from Sharon Springs to Colby to Oberlin and less than 1/10 of an inch to the north and west. Tonight and tomorrow morning snow amounts will be in the 1 to 2 inch range and mainly south of I-70. Today's highs will be 40 to 45. Tonight's lows drop 20 to 25, and tomorrow's temperatures will be in the 30s. North winds at 10 to 20 miles per hour will gust up to 35. Tomorrow night, skies clears, lows will drop into the teens. Saturday will still be windy and cold with highs in the upper 30s and low 40s and lows around 20. Sunday will rebound back into the 50s and into the low 60s for Monday and Tuesday. This meteorologist Chris Schromick in the NWKS Radio Weather Center.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
Kick off 2026 ready for whatever winter brings. At Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby, they've got the gear to start the new year strong. Get organized with rugged storage totes. And when the snow starts falling, if it does, power through it with Ego and Craftsman snow blowers. Or if it's just the light stuff, blow it away with Ego leaf blowers. And don't forget ice melt to keep your sidewalk safe all season long. New year, winter ready. Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby. Helpful folks, trusted brands, and everything you need to get it done.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland and let's get you covered. The Insurance Agency. Insurance the way it should be.
The holiday season just got brighter at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. Wrap up the year with 0% for 36 months on all 2026 Chevrolet Trailblazer and Equinox models. Or slide into a new GMC, 1.9% for 36 months on a 26 Arcadia, plus up to $7,000 in rebates on a 26 GMC Sierra 1500 Elevation with Turbo Max with eligible trade-in. Big savings, big style, and big holiday cheer. Only at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Stop in today or visit online at hurlchev.com.
At Ray Community District Hospital and Clinic, they believe in promoting healthier living through compassionate quality care. From state-of-the-art maternity care to life-saving emergency services, their dedicated team is there for you and your family. Whether it's managing diabetes, navigating recovery, or receiving specialized treatments, they're committed to your well-being. Discover the difference a community-focused hospital can make. Visit rayhospital.org today to learn more. Ray Community District Hospital and Clinic. Your health, our priority.
For over 90 years, the place to call for your plumbing and heating needs has and continues to be McClure's Plumbing and Heating. They look forward to serving you here in the new year. Call them today for sales and service at 785-899-6229. That's McClure's Plumbing and Heating.
Health Essentials Downtown Burlington is committed to providing their clients with the tools to achieve optimal health. Stop in for vitamins and supplements, chiropractic care, functional medicine, and much more at Health Essentials on 14th Street, Burlington. Your trust is their concern.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4!
It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
If you want to win in football, it all starts up front. Mass kicks ass.
And Connor Schuh.
He's the new guy.
The High Plains only local sports talk show. Broadcasting live on Goodland's Rocket 102.5 and video streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
They're basically idiots.
Covering it all from the preps.
Up ahead to Blair Lennon. Lennon, the crossover, back to Cure. Hello, boom! A two-handed tomahawk flush.
To the pros.
Shotgun snap to Nix. Protection is good. Bold loads it up. He's got it. A receiver there. Franklin makes the catch in the end zone. Touchdown, Denver.
The Blitz is presented by Pearl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank. Along with
Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell, the Insurance Agency, Pest Away LLC, Topside Portables and Puffing, and the Farmer State Bank in Oakley.
Let's go to work.
Left side, Braden Smith, pocket pass, lob, and a catch and a dunk for Daniel Jacobson. The pass from Trey Kaufman-Wren. Williams bounces it to Akram, stolen by Torrey, and he'll dunk it at the other end.
Starts back to his left, gives to Stewart. Stewart down low, got Reed. Reed lays it in, and UConn's up by 6. Under a minute to go.
Right side, Heel, wide open 3. She hit it! Heel's got 25.
Need to stop. Priori, right wing, trying to drive, slices down the lane, left up there, blocked away by Dak. It's grabbed by Runchick. 2-on-2 break. Harvard's front court. Down the lane he goes. Scoop shots up, no good. Dak is there and slams it home. Haggerty tips it out. Nate Johnson for a 3. Good. Nate Johnson knocks down a triple.
Happy Thursday morning, everybody. We are on the Morning Blitz on Goodland's Rocket 1025 and WKSradio.net. Pearl Chevrolet GMC video stream on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Ross Volkmer, Connor Schuh with you here on a rainy, at least in Goodland, a rainy start to a Thursday. Any precip in Colby at this time?
There wasn't any falling when I walked over, or not walked over, when I drove over here, but the ground was pretty wet. I think it rained a little bit overnight. Probably like pretty late, like 2-3 o'clock, but I think we're in a little bit of a lull, but we're definitely getting some here soon.
Yes, light sprinkle. The funny thing is, I checked the I checked the temperature this morning. It was 40 degrees when I got up this morning. 40 degrees. The high today is 43. So it's pretty much what it is, folks. It is
that
what
way.
it is today. So whatever you walk out to today is pretty much going to be your high for this Thursday. There is, once again, for those who don't know, some chances of some snow coming in tonight, possibly in the evening and after midnight. And then tomorrow there is a mostly cloudy with a chance of snow. And going to be windy today. Going to have winds anywhere from 10 to 20 and even windier Friday with north winds up to 35 mile per hour gusts. But I judging by what I've seen on the graphics from the National Weather Service, I don't think we're going to see a ton of accumulation of snow. I'm thinking probably anywhere from nothing to maybe, if it really hits hard, maybe 2 inches.
I've been hearing maybe 3 to 5. I mean, it seems like it's all over the place.
The further you go west, it seems like there's, at least the graphs that I've seen, there's a better chance of getting that 3 to 5. I feel like where Colby, Goodland, Hoxie, you go further east, however further east you want to go, Grainfield, Grinnell, I think you're going to see less and less. Maybe more rain, but less snow. And like I said, I think probably, judging by how I've seen snow happen before, and I am and I do mean no meteorologist, I would expect us to have a very, very just a dusting of the white stuff here over the over the next day or so. So anyway, right now overcast and 41 here outside the KKCI studios. I hope everyone's having a great start to your Thursday. We got a full show ahead. We will be joined by one of my favorite guests, Henry Greenstein, KUSports.com. We'll talk to him about the Jayhawks and their basketball program, where they sit following an impressive come-from-behind win against TCU. We'll get his thoughts. I know he was there in person checking out that game. We'll get his thoughts on that. We'll talk a little bit with him about the college football playoff semifinals, which get going tonight, Ole Miss and Miami. And, of course, he's an AP voter. I have a question for him about his AP poll now that the season is done. We will power through a very quick NFL Power 5 playoff edition. We'll talk about the 6 games that are coming up here. And it may just be 5 because it's only 5 games, but there are 6 games that will be played. Which one did not make the cut in the Power 5? We'll get to that coming up here in segment 3. And we'll touch on K-State and Colorado basketball. K-State getting pounded by Arizona, and then Colorado with the win at home against Utah last night with some basketball recaps. But I want to start in JUCO hoops, where last night, Colby Community College, Fort Hays Tech Northwest, pair of double headers. Fort Hays Tech Northwest at home at the Max Jones Fieldhouse hosting Cloud County, while the Trojans at home as well, taking on Pratt. Of course, Connor Schuh was there giving coverage of Fort Hays Tech Northwest basketball. I'll let you have the floor, sir. What was it like last night for Tech Tiger basketball?
Well, the first game, the girls still trying to get that first win, and I thought they were going to run away with it, honestly. After the first quarter, they were up by 11 on Cloud County coming out of it, and they have a new player on their roster. I'm just going to pull up her name again because it's a tough pronunciation. Coming over from Ukraine, just played her very first game, of course, last night. She was around for the Dodge City game last week, but was not officially eligible. Okay, so I'm going to bear with me for this because I don't have the written pronunciation in front of me, but it's Taisia Vapovska. I'm pretty sure that sounds right. That sounds right. And she provided a really nice spark and got to the line a ton. I think she shot like 10 free throws and went 8 for 10 from the stripe. Struggled a little bit scoring the ball outside of that, but you could tell she brought a different energy to the team. And when I was talking to Coach Klein after the game, he said that too. He said she brings a very positive vibe to the locker room and she's a big competitor. So he thinks that really injected a lot into his team, and you could see it. I mean, they were there the whole time. They only lost by a few, and unfortunately, free throws just kind of got to them towards the end, and Cloud County made the score look a little worse than it actually was. But they were there the whole time, and it was a very close, fun game. But on the men's side, unfortunately, that one got away from them pretty quickly. They were down by 18 within the first 10 minutes, and maybe not the first 10 minutes, first 15, but Cloud County just unleashed everything on them, and they just couldn't stop the scoring. And Cloud County is one of the highest scoring teams in the Jayhawk. They score about 87 a game, so they're a pretty good offense, and they just kind of held them down for the whole game. And there were some points where Tech, it felt like they were going to kind of come back and say would get within 10, 11, 12 points, but then Cloud County would bury a 3 and then go down and hit a 2, or they'd get a dunk. They had this kid, Manessa Stackhouse, who I think I counted, he had 6 dunks last night, not to mention 3 threes. So he was all over the place, and he was hard to handle. And I think they had 4 guys in double figures, 2 of them with 20+ points. So it was they just had a tough offense to stop. Simple as that.
Viposka, is she a post or a guard?
She's a wing.
A wing. Okay. All right. Well, 4 girls in double figures for Fort Hays Tech Northwest, and her added 12 points certainly will be well welcome to an offensive team that has struggled on the offensive end. And yeah, you're right. I mean, following the game on the men's side, they just got down too big, too early, and could not recover from that. That's for sure. Colby Community College also in action last night, a split there. The Colby women just demolishing Pratt. 74-30 was the final score last night there inside the Colby Event Center. You had Colby get 19 points from Desi Ulmer on 8 of 12 shooting, and then Elena Ando coming off the bench was 12 points and 7 rebounds, but a very balanced scoring attack there for Colby, who was up pretty much at halftime, 34-11, and never looked back. They dominated in every single quarter. In fact, there was only one quarter last night where Pratt scored in double figures. Otherwise they were held to 4, 7, and 8 in 3 of the quarters. Hard to win when you're only scoring 30 points. So Colby gets a big win there. And then on the men's side, it was the return of Hunter Vaughn, Colby High School legend himself, and he leads his Pratt Beavers to a 71-67 victory. He had a game-high 22 points on 7 of 10 shooting. He went 3 of 3 from 3, 5 of 5 from the foul line. He hit with some homeschool or some home cooking going on right there. He was feeling good about that. He was very good. Colby got 20 points off the bench from DJ Kason. In what I said, coming off the bench in a reserve role, but it was Colby just didn't quite have enough in the tank. Was down 12 at the end of the first quarter. Made a really great push in the second half, but just ran out of time. I think that was
not to mention had 2 starters foul out, Alou Diallo and Zion Messam.
Yeah, that's it's going to happen from time to time.
Yeah.
What was the stat I saw? Oh, the women's game. Pratt shot just 25% from the floor. That was from the floor. That's not from 3. That's not from free throw line. That's from the floor. 25% is all Pratt.
I'd be a little worried if you were shooting 25 from the free throw line.
Yes, that'd be bad too. So it's not good. So all over. So once again, Colby Community College women and the only lone winners in the region from last night. Otherwise, everyone else handed a loss. Also last night, K-State and Colorado basketball teams on the hardwood. K-State last night. You didn't get to watch any of this game, but I am telling you what, man. This was a game that was. I don't know.
Not a game.
It wasn't. But I also don't want to completely throw. I don't want to throw K-State under the bus here because. I'm telling you what, there are 2 teams. This is the first time I had watched Arizona in a decent amount in a capacity, if you get what I'm saying. I am telling you what, that is a basketball. There's only 2 teams that stand out to me in basketball. It's Arizona and Michigan. If that's not the national championship game, I'm almost going to be stunned.
It's college basketball. It's not going to happen.
They just look different compared to everybody else. Arizona made K-State look like a junior varsity squad. And I don't mean that by how they played. I mean that a ways as in how big Arizona was in comparison to Kansas State. Look on the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream. Look at these guys that are playing for Arizona. They're all linebackers. That's
a lot of big dudes.
They are absolutely humongous human beings. out there playing basketball last night, and they took it to K-State. Kansas State was going to have to just go bananas from three if they were going to win this game. They only made 8 of 36. It's not going to get it done. Credit to Kansas State. They were down 51-36 at half. They charged back in the first kind of 5 to 6 minutes of the second half, got it down to 9. I mean, they got it down to 9. They were there, but Arizona, I think, was like, oh, we got to finish this game. And they just opened up the throttle again and pulled away. There's a young man, Mo Krivas for Arizona, had a career high 25 points last night. 25 points, 12 rebounds. The dude lived off the glass. And that was a humongous storyline in the game. K-State was out rebounded 55-32. 55-32 in Division I college basketball.
Not going to win like that.
Arizona just owned Kansas State on the glass last night. It was something to watch. And Arizona just looked like it was in a completely different league compared to what K-State was in. So Michigan and Arizona for my picks for the national championship game, because they just look like different basketball teams compared to everybody else when they step on the floor.
It'll be hard to pick against them once March comes unless they start to show some cracks. And I don't know, Michigan showed some cracks against Penn State, but Arizona did not do that against K-State. I did check in on the game a little bit during some portion before the men's game, and I saw it, and I saw exactly what you're looking at right now in the video stream. Just total domination from Arizona. That freshman, Koa Pete, he's really good too. He's probably going to be a top 10 pick next year.
He's massive. He's not your typical scrawny freshman. He's humongous.
Oh,
I'm starting to wonder if Arizona's got some problems with the roids down there. I mean, all these guys are just massive human beings. The guy, the Toby Awaka, I'm probably butchering his name. He comes off,
I think that's it.
Arizona. The dude is jacked. I mean, any football coach in America would love to have a guy that looks like that. I mean, just unbelievable how their weight program is got to be. They just all are nuts. And of course, Tommy Lloyd, what a phenomenal hire from Arizona. He was a longtime assistant for Mark Few at Gonzaga. And I don't know about you, but whenever I turned on a game with Gonzaga, you'd see a bunch of names. You're like, where did these guys come from? You know, these random odd name guys. That was all Tommy Lloyd, because now they all play at Arizona. He's got this unbelievable connection to international players, and they show up and they're just dudes.
Yeah, because that's what Gonzaga, that's what they do. And he kind of took that from Mark Few, and I'm sure he got some connections of his own from assisting from it, and he clearly applied them.
It was an impressive showing last night from Arizona. I mean, Kansas State got 19 from PJ Haggerty. He was fine. Nate Johnson had 15. Dorn Buka came off the bench for 12 points. They had to have him play a lot because he was the biggest guy K-State had in order to play against all this size. But it was just amazing to watch. If you just watched it, look at Krivas. He just backed down someone and stuffed it on their face. They were like I said, it was like watching the varsity take on the JV. It really was. Man, tough. K-State's 9-6 now. They're 0-2 to begin Big 12 play. They're going to face off against Arizona State, who I also believe is 0-2 to begin Big 12 play. Yes. And so a chance for them. One. That's a very even game. Both teams 9-6, both teams 0-12. That's on Saturday at 2 o'clock Central, 1 Mountain Time. I think that's a game where K-State gets their first Big 12 win. But it has been a brutal. Yeah, I think it's been a brutal schedule for them to open up Big 12 play. 10th ranked BYU, number 1 Arizona, at Arizona State, and then they go home to take on a 25th ranked UCF team, who I think is going to drop out of the rankings. I think they lost to Oklahoma State last night, so it was short-lived. So anyway, K-State losers last night, but I don't give K-State credit. They could have hung it up and said we're done, throw it in the towel after halftime. Got it down to 9, but Arizona's just on a different level than Kansas State is at this point in time. Just a different level. And then quickly, Colorado last night with a win as well. The Buffaloes taking down Utah in a much more competitive game, I would say. A much more competitive game. 85-73 was the final score there, with the Buffaloes getting the win. Getting 12-3, a quiet 12-3 Buffalo team, and off to a 2-0 start in Big 12 play. They've had a much easier start to Big 12 play than others. But they got 19 points from Sebastian Rancic. And you know, one of the stat lines that stand to me is Colorado gets to the foul line and they don't miss. 19 of 21 from the free throw line last night. They are one of the better free throw shooting teams, and they shoot a high percentage from the floor, 47% last night against a Utah team that is in complete rebuild mode. They've got a new head coach this year, and they're going to be one of the bottom feeders in the Big 12. But Colorado, a very quiet 12-3. But they've got some nice pieces, whether it's Roncic or Bengot Dak, who's very, very good as well. They've got some very nice pieces. Just Tad Boyle and Colorado, but they had a nice win last night at home at the CU Event Center over Utah. Once again, winning 85-73 there in Boulder. So there you go. Some college basketball for you there. As K-State and Colorado with a split, I guess you want to put that. K-State losing at Arizona, Colorado with a win at home over Utah. All right, we're going to get to an early break here. When we come back, we're going to have Henry Greenstein join us, good friend from KUSports.com, the Lawrence Journal World. He'll join us to talk about Kansas basketball, a come-from-behind win for the ages at home against TCU 2 nights ago, and his thoughts on KU basketball here early on in the Big 12 slate, and a few other storylines surrounding KU athletics with him next. This is The Blitz.
The holiday season just got brighter at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. Wrap up the year with 0% for 36 months on all 2026 Chevrolet Trailblazer and Equinox models. Or slide into a new GMC, 1.9% for 36 months on a 26 Arcadia, plus up to $7,000 in rebates on a 26 GMC Sierra 1500 Elevation with Turbo Max with eligible trade-in. Big savings, big style, and big holiday cheer. Only at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Stop in today or visit online at hurlchev.com.
When you gotta go, but there's nowhere to go, who you gonna call? Topside Portables and Pumping, that's who. Weddings, job sites, farm parties, they've got clean, reliable porta potties that don't stink, literally. And if your septic tank smells worse than last year's chili cook-off, they'll pump it out fast. No mess, no fuss. Family owned, Heartland values, always ready. Call 785-728-8089. That's 728-8089. Topside Portables and Pumping. When Tootie calls, they answer.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning. This is Tom Saluto with the Anderson Trade Group with your overnight market report on January the 8th. And the overnight session, March corn was unchanged at 446, May corn unchanged at 453, and July corn unchanged at 459 and a quarter. March soybeans were down 1 at 1066. May soybeans down 1 at 1077, and July soybeans down 1 at 1089. March Kansas City hard red winter wheat was down 1 at 530. May KC wheat unchanged at 542, and July KC wheat unchanged at 555. The Dow Jones is currently down 180 points at 49,000. S&P is down 8 points at 6,955. NASDAQ is down 44 points at 25,794. Gold is down 31 points at $44.32 an ounce. Silver is slightly down 4 points at $74 an ounce, and crude oil is slightly up at $57 a barrel. If you're out in the Colorado area and have any grain to market or risk management questions, please call John Hankey or John Stiles at 970-744-4484, or you can call the Overland Park office, myself, Tom Saluto, Jared Law, or Tyler Ghosh at 913-748-3000. Thank you.
Hey, Max, you look sharp in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world as a guide dog?
You bet, Daisy. And your purple service dog vest really pops against your shiny fur.
First day on the job for both of us. We've got this, right?
You bet. Dogs Inc. trained us well.
Ready to make a difference for our humans?
Born ready.
Discover how extraordinary guide and service dogs change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, and cleaner American fuel. This message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Quick hits, bold takes, and all the action.
I'll take that action.
Welcome back to the Morning Blitz.
(7:31) Mountain, 8:31 Central Time on a Thursday, January the 8th. Once again, temperature right now sitting at around 40 degrees. The high going to be no much warmer than about this, 34, or said 41, 42, 43 degrees today in the listening area. Once again, chances of snow here in the very northwest part of state, probably looking at around a trace to an inch. As you go further to the south, you might get a little bit more, might get some 2 to 3. If you get down over around southwest of Garden City, if you're in like Hugoton or Holcomb or Ulysses, you might be looking at 3 to 5 inches through this winter storm that's coming up here. But I think where we are going to see nothing but maybe just a trace of snow. Listener Kyle, who I really appreciate. Kyle, thank you so much for texting in. FB Bank text line 785-899-2222. We've got a couple questions to get to real quickly, then we'll have Henry Greenstein join us. But he wants to know, is the Big 12 conference in basketball this year, is it better than the Big 10 or the SEC? He says, I feel like the Big 12 is a 10-bid league this year. He says the Big 10 is this gets any better, Connor. The Big 10 is overrated. SEC even more overrated. All right, Kyle, the Big 10 is not overrated. It's a bear. The SEC, I think, is overrated. I was watching Vanderbilt and Alabama last night, and Vanderbilt beat Alabama in Nashville, and I was not impressed with Alabama. Now, I think their top player, Philon, was out with injury most of the game, but I was not impressed with Alabama, and they're a top 15 ranked team, but I was not impressed with them.
I think Vanderbilt's their best team, and granted, Vanderbilt's awesome. They're undefeated
really
still, and the SEC is great. I do think they maybe aren't quite as good as a whole as usual.
They're not as good as they've been in the last couple of years.
But I want to look at the Big 12 standings just for a quick second, and I'm going to try and count how many teams I think are going to make the tournament. So I'm going to count on my fingers here. Arizona, Iowa State, BYU, Houston, Texas Tech, Kansas, Baylor, and
Baylor.
Maybe UCF. I've got 7, and you could make an argument for TCU and maybe Oklahoma State, but I think that's a stretch.
I don't know. 10 is way too many. Way too many. Our good friend, Henry Greenstein. He's a guy who follows Big 12 basketball. Morning, Henry. How are you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing just fine. Yeah, I was watching some of it last night. Maybe not the most entertaining night of games compared to what we had the previous night, but you can always count on this conference to provide some level of entertainment. That's for sure.
Do you think 10 is too many? Would be a number that the Big 12 can get into the tournament at this point in time? I feel like that's a little high for number of 10 teams.
That does seem a little optimistic. I think that the issue right now, there's a few teams where we don't have enough of a body of work to see if they're legitimate, and it is some of those lower level guys you were talking about, the likes of UCF, TCU, and Oklahoma State. And there are some teams that I'm pretty convinced on the lower end are going to be pretty poor by the end of the year. But I think there's a few in the middle tier where we're not quite clear on it. And it'll take some time to sort that out. But you're right. I think 10's maybe a little bit over the limit of what would likely end up happening.
Once again, Henry Greenstein joining us on the Hoover Lumber's Hardware Hotline, KUSports.com, and the Lawrence Journal World. I'm going to actually get to another listener question for you, Henry. They want to know what you think is the ceiling for this KU basketball team after what you have witnessed here through the first, not quite half of the season.
That's a good question. I mean, it depends how much they can gel with Darren Peterson. Like, it depends to what extent they can actually learn to play with this guy who is a generational talent. If that happens, they can make it to an Elite Eight or a Final Four. If that doesn't happen and they continue to play like two effectively different segmented teams when Peterson's on the floor versus when Council's running on the show and he's on the bench, it'll be tough for them to make it like out of the second round or past the Sweet 16. I really feel like this has now become because of this Peterson injury saga, the fundamental question that will define the ultimate result of KU's season. And it's one that really no one could have foreseen entering the year.
Henry, I got to ask you, like, what have you heard about the Darren Peterson injury stuff? Like, has he been just trying to play through, and the reason he hasn't been able to finish games is just because he's too banged up, or what have you heard, or what do you think's the deal?
Yeah, I mean, the sense that I get is that they're trying to find whatever means possible to get him through the end of the game, and they're getting closer. I mean, there's been a couple times that he's made it through about, he's played about 32 minutes and had to exit with 2 minutes to go. We've now seen the same situation against NC State and most recently in that ridiculous game against TCU the day before yesterday. But, they've consulted an extensive array of sports medicine experts and tried to solicit as much information as possible to get this to some level of normalcy. And it certainly seems like they're getting closer. I mean, against TCU, we saw Darren Peterson attack the rim, for example, in a way that he hadn't before, which was some indication that he felt more mentally and physically confident in the explosiveness in his legs, which is good. And I honestly thought for about 38 minutes of game time that we were done with the Darren Peterson injury storyline. And then, of course, he came out, and then he came back in for a very important 5.4 seconds. So things got weirdly complicated. But it does feel like it's on a general upward trajectory. Like I do envision a world where in a couple games, maybe we could see him get through a game without any questions about his ongoing cramp issues.
Henry, and I know you may not be the best person to ask because you haven't covered the team for forever, but Darren Peterson is the best basketball player at Kansas since who?
Well, if you hear Bill Self say he's the best player he's ever recruited, I mean, if you want to think about one-and-done prospects, the comparable answers are like Josh Jackson and Andrew Wiggins. And, Joel Embiid wasn't really quite what he is now does not necessarily correspond to how he was initially viewed in college. He didn't get, obviously, a huge chance to display a lot of that. But in terms of, like, pure talent and NBA preparedness, Peterson may be on his own level. Of course, it's difficult to say that like so straightforwardly now because of how weird this season has been and how strangely it's unfolded for him so far. But he could be in his own tier. Like I said, closest players would be Wiggins or Jackson in terms of like immediate readiness to make it to the professional level.
Henry, go back a couple nights there at Fog Allen and watching them come from behind down by, I think it was 9 with less than a minute to play. What was that like to witness the Fog win a game for Kansas again?
Well, it certainly did so in a way that I haven't seen during my time on the beat. I mean, you think about the best home victories of the last couple of seasons. It would be UConn in December of 2023. They won that one 69-65. But that was just a really close back and forth game throughout where they made some clutch free throws and a couple of key threes at the end. It wasn't a dramatic comeback in this way. Or in the way of the 2017 West Virginia game, or any of the other numerous times they've overcome seemingly insurmountable odds to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. UConn in 2023, Houston that same season was just a game where they shot like out of their mind. They shot like 72% of the first half or whatever, and beat a team that was one of the best in the country that year. This was unlike anything I have seen in recent years, and of course, the hope going forward will be that this is the moment where this team came together, and that this will be seen as a turning point, and that, frankly, they won't find themselves needing insane heroics to avoid going 0-2 in conference play for the first time in 43 years, or setting other ignominious marks like that in the days and weeks ahead. But, yeah, it was an incredible game to watch. An incredible game to cover, except for the part where I had to delete like the first 5 paragraphs of my story and rewrite them dramatically. Other than that, it was really fun. They played quite poorly in a lot of different areas. This is a team that started out the year as one of the top defenses in the country, and in the last 2 games has suddenly been kind of exposed by 2 mid-level Big 12 teams, so they got to figure that out before they get into the meat of their schedule. I really think their switching 5 was an asset early on, and now it seems like teams are kind of figuring it out. So kind of a turning point in that respect too, in terms of how they choose to handle that going forward. And then, like I mentioned earlier, they still need to learn how to play with Derek Peterson, and Peterson needs to learn how to play with them. So obviously the game exposed a lot of problems. Like, if you're playing well, you don't find yourself behind 15 points with 4.5 minutes remaining. And it's miraculous that they got out of that hole, but the fact that you end up with a W in that column, not necessarily heals all wounds, but certainly you go out of that gym feeling differently than if you, like I said, got off to the worst start in 43 years in league play.
Oh, 43. I didn't even know that. 43 years. Wow, that's ridiculous.
If they had lost. Yeah,
right. I get it. I get it. They avoided the worst
Yeah.
start in 43 years. Henry Greenstein, once again, our guest, KUSports.com and the Lawrence Journal World. You mentioned it earlier, and I feel like I couldn't agree with you more. I feel like watching this Kansas team, that if Darren Peterson's on the floor, they play one way. If he's not on the floor, they play a completely different way, or a different kind of style almost. And it's hard to kind of, for the teammates that are out there every single time, to adjust to how they're going to play, because he's either in the lineup or he is not. I want to, there's a question that we've discussed on this program a couple times, and Has KU fallen back to more of the middle of the pack in the Big 12 when it comes to men's basketball, when you look at the grand scheme of the Big 12?
Well, I mean, it's hard not to say yes, the way the last couple of years has gone and the way this one is shaping up. I think in terms of on-court performance, it's hard to argue that they've not been knocked off their perch, so to speak. Do I think they can get back there? Absolutely. I think as early as this year, they could return to the upper few teams in the conference, depending how things unfold over the schedule. So I don't think there's been exactly like a seismic shift in the present and future of Kansas basketball. But it's hard to argue with the fact that a lot of teams seem to have caught up to them in recent years. And of course, people have all sorts of theories on why that is. But I think there's a lot of things you can attribute it to. Like in theory, the current revenue sharing rules and are leveling of the playing field to some extent. But then on the other hand, you can go above the cap with NIL deals if they get approved by the clearinghouse. So it's not really a level playing field. And then the transfer portal allows for a more even allocation and distribution of talent. And KU's made some bad swings in the portal. I think that's probably the main reason. But this year, they did a great job in the portal. And they received a lot of criticism for how slowly they went and not picking up a lot of marquee guys. And now those non-marquee guys have been some of the best players in the conference. And that's why KU has even been competitive without having the guy who their entire team was built around for consistent minutes. So all that is to say, I don't see as having been like a seismic shift where KU will now be a second-tier team in the Big 12 going forward. But it is hard to argue that like they are what they were when they won the national title.
And Henry, you mentioned those transfers. I look at specifically Melvin Council and Trey White. What do you think about what those guys have done this year?
I mean, they've impressed dramatically. I think Trey White. Okay, well, Melvin Council. It was pretty clear to me. Like they didn't get a huge amount of transfers. It was pretty clear who was going to be the best one. I think his self-assuredness has been really impressive. He doesn't back down from any challenge, as we've seen. This is a guy who thinks he can score on any possession and guard anyone on an opposing team. And he's usually been right. So it's hard to argue with that. His speed off the dribble is incredibly impressive, and KU's won a few games on essentially that alone. His shooting's been a little better than expected. Obviously, one game where he scored 36 points is doing a lot of work to improve his shooting numbers. But he's still been a better outside shooter than than most envisioned. And he's been an emotional leader, which is something this team has needed. So Council has been great all year. Trey White, I would say, is arguably even more surprising because when you have a guy who has put up roughly consistent numbers over the course of 3 years in college, all at different power conference schools, you don't necessarily expect him to take a leap forward as a senior. But that's exactly what he's done. He's averaging about 4 more points per game. He's rebounding better. He's shooting the three basically any better than anyone on KU's team, which is not what anyone expected and has been particularly necessary because the guys they brought in to shoot have been pretty irrelevant to this point. So he's had a really good niche there, but man, he's just got such a wide-ranging skill set. Like, besides being the best shooter right now, he's really good at drawing fouls, and he's also a great free throw shooter. Like, he embraces the contact. He can do a little bit better defensively because, I would say Bryson Tiller is the main player who's been picked on when it comes to the switches, and that's led to some defensive issues in the last couple games, but Trey White might be the runner-up there, even though he should have the frame to be pretty versatile and defend 1 through 4. But those guys, it's hard to see as anything other than unmitigated successes. And I don't know that I don't know that a lot of KU fans were absolutely pumped when they signed those guys because they didn't have a big name school and a big price tag associated with them. But those guys are the reason why this team is shaping up kind of nicely down the stretch.
Henry, got one more for you here, changing gears before we let you go. You're an AP voter, and I want to know how you feel like the college football season has wrapped up here based upon what you initially put on your AP poll and how it looks now at the end of the season. And then your thoughts real quickly on tonight's, let's just talk thoughts on the semifinal matchup starting tonight with Ole Miss and, of course, Miami.
Well, I think it's hard to look at the last few teams in it and say anyone could have expected it. But I love to see this level of parity. And I love to see, I not like Miami hasn't had historical success or anything. But I love to see teams that aren't the same few. And I think the college football playoff is accomplishing what it's supposed to. I don't know that I was nearly enough of a believer in Indiana early on in the season. I saw what they accomplished last year, but I never thought that they'd be able to take an additional step forward beyond that to be the consensus national title favorite like they are now. On the whole, I feel pretty pleased with what I did with the polling over the course of the year. There were some fan bases who probably weren't quite as pleased with me. I think Texas Tech fans spent about 3 straight weeks yelling at me over the course of late November and early December. But maybe I got the last laugh there, having them ranked a few spots lower than everyone else did. Not that it's about vengeance, but I feel confident in how I approached that one. I'm trying to think of other teams. I think that ultimately I may have been a little too kind to too many group of 5 teams toward the bottom of my rankings. I guess they all kind of ended up cannibalizing each other. And then, of course, James Madison did only okay in that first round matchup against Oregon. But yeah, I just think this was a season with a lot of unpredictable developments, a lot of teams that started strong early and faded late and vice versa. And that just makes for entertaining college football and a lot of challenges for voters to deal with on a weekly basis. But yeah, I've really enjoyed that particular aspect of my job. And, as for these 2 games, I still think Indiana's taking it. I think Oregon's obviously an extremely talented team, but I don't see that going any differently than the previous one. And as for Miami and Ole Miss, if Trinidad Chambliss can play like he did in the last game, it's going to be hard for even a Canes team with that much momentum to stop him. So I'm really excited for these. And like I said, it's nice to see a breath of fresh air in terms of like the teams that are actually having a chance at lifting the trophy.
Henry, thank you so much for the time, my friend. Safe travels to Morgantown.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Once again, Henry Greenstein, KUSports.com, Lawrence Journal World. He'll have coverage of KU basketball as they take on West Virginia coming up here on Saturday. Real quickly, Kyle, once again, with another question before we get to break. If KU beats Iowa State next week, does that cement them as working towards the top of the teams in the Big 12? It's a weird stated question, Kyle. If you're working towards the top, but cement is kind of 2 different things. I would say, yes, you're working towards the top. If you beat Iowa State, does it cement you at the top? No, it does not, because you could still lose some games and slip back down.
It puts you close. I think I agree with you because they've had good wins earlier in the season. It's not like they're totally floundering towards the middle. So that'd be a great conference win to get under your belt, especially if you can make quick work of West Virginia next game. And then you've really got a nice launching pad for the rest of the conference play.
Yeah, I think, once again, it's just the look. When KU basketball, go back 10 years ago, they were dominant in the Big 12 You weren't winning at Fog, which most teams still don't win at Fog, but they were winning a lot of the road games. I mean, they were predicted to be the number one. Now they're kind of, it's because of, like Henry said, the playing field is more even. They're just not as dominant as they have been in the past. And it's in comparison to where they were, that is a step backwards, even though in comparison to most teams, they're still really good. And good programs are still really, really good. But we'll see. A win against Iowa State would be awesome for them. That'd be a really, really nice feather in their cap. Because they're still undefeated, aren't they? Iowa State still hasn't lost.
Yeah, they're undefeated.
Yeah, so that'd be huge. All right, let's get to our final break. Come back. A quick NFL Power 5 playoff edition next here in the Morning Blitz.
When you need strength that lasts, count on Slosher Concrete. From driveways and sidewalks to farm, commercial, and highway projects, they're your local concrete pros serving Goodland, Burlington, and the tri-state area. Slosher Concrete, building the foundation of our communities.
With 9 locations across Northwest Kansas, the High Plains Co-op continues to stand with you, giving you the service you need and deserve. They're here for all of your grain, feed, and fuel needs, as well as helping you manage the marketing and crop insurance sector with their HPC risk management program. Visit them online at high-plainscoop.com to get the latest markets, ag news, and information, or call them today at 785-462-3351. That's 462-3351. Continuing to stand with you is the High Plains Co-op.
Are pests making your home or business uncomfortable? Call Pest Away in Goodland, Kansas, serving all of Northwest Kansas. They provide top-notch pest control services to keep your space safe and pest-free. From ants to rodents, termites to spiders, our expert team is here to help with effective, safe, and affordable pest control solutions. Don't wait. Call Pest Away today at 785-728-7166 for fast, reliable service. Your home or business deserves the best protection.
At Nextech Wireless, get the iPhone 17 on us. iPhone 17 comes with a brighter 6.3-inch display and a ceramic shield tube front that's 3 times more scratch resistant. Nextech Wireless, connecting Kansas.
The holiday season just got brighter at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. Wrap up the year with 0% for 36 months on all 2026 Chevrolet Trailblazer and Equinox models. Or slide into a new GMC, 1.9% for 36 months on a 26 Arcadia, plus up to $7,000 in rebates on a 26 GMC Sierra 1500 Elevation with Turbo Max with eligible trade-in. Big savings, big style, and big holiday cheer. Only at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Stop in today or visit online at hurlchev.com.
You're listening to the High Plains only local sports talk show.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
The Morning Blitz.
All right, we got a couple minutes left to go here on a Thursday program. There is a little local sports on tonight. You've got Decatur Community Basketball back on the hardwood. They're visiting Dundee County Stratton up there in Binkelman. They'll be playing some basketball tonight. Also, Decatur Community Wrestling has a double duel with Hitchcock County in Southwest Nebraska. That is on the docket for tonight in local sports. And then Friday and Saturday, very, very busy. It's the first true weekend of the new year with local sports. So tons of wrestling, tons of basketball coming up here on the weekend. All right, NFL Power 5. Let's get to a playoff edition. So there's only 6 games, but we can still do a Power 5. Connor Schuh, give us your number 5 game in the NFL Power 5 playoff edition.
I'll just say I'm leaving out Texans Steelers.
That's
I want to go
out. Interesting.
Yes, because Rams and Panthers is my number 5 because I want to see if the Panthers have any shot of an upset. I'm going to have my eye on that one for probably a little longer than, the Texas Steelers game, just because I want to see if the Panthers can do it against probably, the second strongest wildcard team, in my opinion, behind the Patriots. But the Rams are the Rams, and the Panthers just barely snuck in. But I'm rooting for Bryce Young.
That game made my 6 was the Rams and the Panthers because I don't think the Panthers are going to have. I think that's going to be a Rams victory. As much as it would be really a great feather in the cap for Coach Canales and all that for Carolina to do that, I just don't see it happening. So I think that game is going to be not real pretty. Rams are going to take care of business. There is a bonus. They do have to fly all the way across the country, so that might help them a little bit if you're looking from the Carolina perspective. My number 5 game is Houston at Pittsburgh. It is my number 5 game. Once again, I don't know. Pittsburgh is I don't know what to think of them because they've got a quarterback that at times looks really good, other times doesn't look great. They've got a running back that looks great at times. Other times they put a weird guy in the backfield. You know, they it's like they can't quite figure out what they do really well and do it consistently enough. And the Texans have really come on strong after a very slow start. But the weather could be chilly up in Pittsburgh, and that could be an advantage there for the Steelers possibly. So that's my number 5. All right, moving on. What's 4?
Chargers, Patriots. I think the Chargers are a little weaker than most of these playoff opponents. It's basically Justin Herbert trying to carry the ship all by himself, and at some point that O-line is going to break down, and because I think they've missed Rashawn Slater all year, who is really their guy, and they still have Joe Alt, but he can't do it all himself. The Patriots have a solid D-line, maybe not the best ever, but they have a good defense, and they got Drake May going into the playoffs for his first time, but I think the Chargers, with Justin Herbert still trying to get his first playoff victory, he still hasn't won a playoff game. Crazy. Is going to make it pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, would it stun me if Harbaugh goes on the road and wins this game? I don't want to say stunned, but it would be a surprise. This is my number 4 game as well. The Patriots look like one of the best teams left standing in the NFL at this point in time. They have the second highest scoring offense. They have the 4th scoring defense. They're top 5 they're top 10 in a ton of statistical categories. They're really good in a complete football team. And I just don't know if the Chargers have enough ammo, both offense and defense, to slow them down, particularly on the road. So I've got Patriots probably winning this game, even though it's only a 3.5-point favorite for New England. It could easily be covered there by the Patriots. All right, moving on. Top 3.
I've got Niners at Eagles. Brock Purdy and company trying to make another run at it after a pretty good regular season, all things considered. And then the Eagles, honestly, I feel like if I'm talking about watchability, I think I should have brought this down a little bit more because I don't know about you, but I don't like watching the Eagles sometimes. Jalen Hurts, it seems like he's taken a step back as a passer, and now they're just totally relying on the run game. And Saquon Barkley had a down year too. Things just seem a little wrong over in Philly, but they're still a very talented football team with such a good defense. But their O-line has been worse this year. Their whole offense has been worse. And I think the Niners might be able to take advantage, and it's probably still going to be an entertaining game. The Eagles still retain so many pieces from their Super Bowl winning squad, but I don't know what to think. It's another matchup that I really don't love, I don't think.
Yeah, I hear you. It's not a game I love either. The Eagles, you said it right. They make everything on offense look hard. Everything looks difficult. Like they can't run the ball real great. They can't throw it real great, but their defense is elite. And I want to see that matchup of their defense against the San Francisco offense. And Brock Purdy has looked pretty darn good. I mean, some people don't like Brock Purdy. I think he's done a heck of a job with what he's done there. They don't have a ton of weapons. They got McCaffrey, and they've got, what's their one wide receiver that's pretty decent over there?
At this point, Jawan Jennings is their guy.
There you go. Jawan Jennings. Thank you. And then Kittle. That's about it. There's not much there. By the way, a couple years ago in a playoff game, this was a humongous playoff game. Remember that Purdy got hurt in San Francisco? Was that game? Purdy got hurt and was playing pretty much with one hand because I think it was in Philadelphia.
I think I remember this.
It was the NFC Championship game. It was a huge game, and the Niners were down to their third string. Didn't have a third string quarterback, so Purdy had to go back in and play with one arm. Had a torn shoulder or something like that.
Gutty.
But yeah, and Philadelphia won easily. I think this game might be ugly, folks. Like you said, may not be a lot of watchability in this one. We're doing NFL Power 5. Let's move into the top 2.
Number 2.
Let's go Bills Jags. This one's going to be a lot of fun. I'm sure you like this one with the Jags, but this is going to be interesting with T-Law coming back into the playoffs after such a bad year last year. And Liam Cohen's injected something new into this team, and they're a lot of fun to watch. They have a tough defense, and the Bills, they've shown some cracks too in the regular season, but they have Josh Allen, and Josh Allen is hungry for his first Super Bowl. He's had his opportunities to come close to getting there, just hasn't quite taken that final step, and it's been a much maligned playoff journey for him and the Bills in the last 5 years, but this might be the year where they can really go out there and do it. We'll see.
I'd say, honestly, on a short on time, I'm going to say it's kind of a tie for the top spot. You could flip a coin between what is the Bears and the Packers, which was my number 2 game, and then the number 1 game we just said for my number 1 game, which was the Bills and the Jaguars. 2 quick points. The Bears have over the recent history, last 10 years, have struggled beating the Packers. And wouldn't it just make you sick if, I don't know about me, but it would make Bears fans absolutely sick that they probably have the better team this year and they still can't beat the Packers when it matters.
It'd be sick too.
It's just sickening. Absolutely sickening. And then you look at it from the perspective of the other game and the Jaguars and the Bills. If it's been said on the show before, I'll say it again. I couldn't agree more. It's Josh Allen's year. If not this year, when? But there's something about the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence that makes me think it may not even be this year, because the Jaguars are really good at taking the football away defensively, and offensively they're scoring a lot of points. But Buffalo is another type of machine than what they've played here recently.
Agreed.
So, yeah, going to be a really, really interesting one. All right, let's get to the walk-off. We got to get out of here.
And back lifts his ball high and deep to right. How about a walk-off Gray? Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes flings it. It's there. Hardman. Jackpot. Kansas City.
One more bit of baseball news. The Rockies have their first free agent signing underneath the new front office. They've decided to take on a 1-year, $8 million deal, former Royal Michael Lorenzen.
Woohoo!
Yeah,
hang the banner.
12 seasons. He enters his 12th season. This Rockies bullpen or starting rotation was bad. 4.64 ERA. That was his ERA last year. That was way worse in Colorado, but
he helps.
It's a step in the right direction for the Rockies. So step in the right direction.
Fun note about Michael Lorenzen. Back when he was on the Reds, he played a little outfield because he's like a crazy athlete, or at least he was when he was younger. Yeah.
Love those guys that can play multiple spots. College football playoff semifinal tonight in the Fiesta Bowl. Ole Miss, Miami. Miami 3-point favorites. What do you got?
God. Oh, Miami by a hair.
Really? Wow.
I guess. I've been back and forth.
I think I'm going to ride with you. I think Miami's defense and physicality will beat. Oh, God, I don't know, but Ole Miss beat Georgia. I don't know.
I'm not even confident about the Miami pick.
I don't like Miami. Going Ole Miss. Shambless. But I don't like the SEC because it'd be great to have a non-SEC team in the finals. That'd be great.
Agreed.
Give me Miami. But I think it could be an interesting game. Give me Miami. Physical games are won and lost in the trenches, and Miami's got better trenches than Ole Miss. I'm going to stick to my adage right there. That kicks off tonight, ESPN, 6:30 Central, 5:30 Mountain Time. For Connor Schuh, I'm Ross Volkmer. Thanks again. We'll see you tomorrow on a Football Friday. Well, it's not even Football Friday. It's just a Friday. We'll see you on Friday here in the Blitz.